Hello, it's Jenna. On this episode of DI Your Own Fucking Self, I'll be showing you how to get this lilac-y, pastel, purpley, whatever you want to call it, purple ombre. For this project, you'll need to probably set aside about an hour to do it. It took me about 15 minutes just to get through the process of brushing and separating my hair, and then about 30 to kind of have the color process and then add more color to it and then wash it out. So stay tuned if you want to learn how the hell do you get this, because it's gonna look like this at the end. So first, like any hair dyeing process, you'll want to brush out them dreads. Oh, and make sure you start and know that your hair is clean and dry, since that's what the directions said on my dye. Whatever you decide to use, I mean, you can use any purple dye at this point, but make sure you read and follow the directions if you're using something different than mine. So you'll basically just part your hair out in half, brush it, and then just make sure that your hair is dry. So after you've brushed out all your dreads, you're basically going to separate and part your hair into 4 parts on each side vertically, matching both of the layers if you have layers. Cut in your hair if it's long. I guess it doesn't matter if it's long and it doesn't have layers, but because I have layers in my hair, it matters because that's where you're going to section out your dye. I tried to match the sides closely to the lengths as much as possible, and I just parted them out vertically in 4 different parts. If you have a lot more hair, you might have to kind of part them out more. Okay, so now that your hair is ready to go, it's time to start mixing shit up. Take that pastelizer and put enough in the bowl for your hair. Then you take, what I'm using here is the Manic Panic and Ultraviolet, and mix in your desired amount. Since I know that this color is going to be semi-permanent, I'm okay with it being a little bit deeper than what I want. So I'll actually just put in a tad bit of it in, and then put a little bit more to make it how I like it. And so you'll see that it's a little bit more of a pastel-y color here. Then you'll take your foils and then just start brushing it in. I started with the first separation part that I did with the layers that pretty much frame my face, and then I kind of worked my way up where I wanted it to kind of fall, and then I folded up the foil, and then I repeated the process on the other side. The goal for me was I really wanted to make sure that where the color stopped was at my chin, so that the color could start to kind of frame my face, and then I could work my way down. So as you'll see in the next couple of frames, I'll fold the foil, take off the clip, and then start kind of working a little bit down from where the start of the color was on the first foil, if that makes sense. So when I had the desired amount of color I wanted to have in the ends that I'm doing, I basically saturated the shit out of it, and then I basically took the bottom of the foil, folded it up almost halfway, and then folded them in vertically so that you could scrunch them up. What I did also, a technique that you'll see that I'm doing, is that I'm basically pressing the foil down to make sure that the color is saturated. You want to make sure that because you are painting your hair that it's saturated all the way throughout, because the back side could be dry, and then you won't get any color deposited there, and it just looks really weird. So you basically repeat that for all of your hair that you've parted. And then the second part to this is I actually went in a little bit more with the color. So then when I realized that the pastel that I had in my hair was probably not going to show up as well as I thought it would be, I changed my mind, and then I went in with just ultraviolet Manic Panic color. And you'll see that I'm applying it just to the bottom of the tips of where my hair is, so I kind of went up halfway the shaft of how far my hair grows out, if that makes sense, and then just took whatever I actually added from the lilac and then added just the little part of hair at the bottom. So then I basically repeated that for all of the foils that I had in my hair. One thing you'll make sure that you want to do is to basically, when you're folding up the foil and you saturated the darkest part of your hair, to only fold it up to where the color stops, because then if you fold it over the pastel lilac, then it'll override that pastel lilac and make it darker, if that makes sense at all, and then you'll just have splotchy ass hair. I mean, if you want that, that's fine, but that's not what I was going for. So you'll see here, I folded it up. Yep, just like that, only up to where the darker color parts of the purple were, and then folded it vertically. Okay, so once you're done applying all of the color, basically you'll let it sit for 30 minutes and then wash it out with cold water. And this is the result I got. So you can kind of see that there's a little bit of the lilac, but it's not showing up as well as I thought it was going to. I think if I had bleached my ends a little bit more and done a little bit more damage to my hair, you would have probably seen it a lot better. But as you're seeing, the purple, the dark purple actually showed up a lot better than the light purple did. So if you have close to platinum hair, it'll probably look a lot better, but because mine is probably like a level 8-9 blonde, it didn't come out the way that I wanted to. But nonetheless, that's how it looked. So after air drying, a flat iron, and some product, this is the final look. It's the color's deposited where I wanted it to be, so I guess that's all that matters. It'll fade out with a couple of washes and I should get that lilac pastel that I want. If you like my videos, comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you on another episode of DI Your Own Fucking Self. Bye!